We have two semi-finals and the final to bring you live here this morning. Rhian Evans, the 12 times world champion, the most successful player in the history of women's snooker, is going to get us underway. She's playing a 19-year-old from Thailand, Nutcharat Wongharuthai, also known as Mink, as you heard from the introductions. And she made the first verified 147 by a female player in Bangkok in March. I'm Dave Hendon. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Michael Day, who works with women's snooker. First thing to say, Michael, is it's a huge occasion for these ladies playing here, of course, at the Crucible.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for the female players this morning. It's look, you know, this is the home of snooker. This is our Wembley, our Lords, our Wimbledon, and it's fantastic that the women players this morning and tomorrow, the disability players, are going to have the opportunity to play here.
Yeah, just sort of observing the players backstage practicing, you could sense a little bit of tension in the air because of where they are. Rhian Evans has played here, as she said in her interview before, but it was many years ago when the Women's Championship had the semis and the final, played at the Crucible.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think back when she played here last, I think it was a two-table setup because it was sort of during the early stages of the World Championship. So obviously playing in the one-table environment is going to be a lot different to the last time she played here. But this is very much sort of a clash of the present. Like you say, Rhian's the current world champion, 12 times world champion, and the future with Nutcharat, only 19 years old. And we heard on the introductions there that she made a 147 break in practice a few months ago. So she's definitely the future of women's snooker.
Yes, I mean, Rhian's only 33, but she's won 12 world titles. She won all of them from 2005 to 2014. Then again, 2016, then again this year. That was a chance to get going. It's table a little awkward already, the pink and black a little bit tied up. Just to say about the format, it's best of three, but if it were to go one each, the decider would be a respotted black for the semi-finals.
Yeah, because it's such a short format, I think it's obviously crucial to settle in as quickly as they can. And whilst they'll enjoy the experience, they'll be anxious to obviously do themselves justice here. Obviously, Rhian does start as favourite, but Mink is very capable of overtaking.
Yes, she got to the world final this year where Rhian Evans beat her 6-3, but she's only been playing couple of years in professional events on the ladies tour. First event was the World Championship 2 years ago, joined the tour last year, but clearly improving all the time. In that 147, that was filmed, it's on YouTube, and you could see her delight at the end when the final black went in, jumped up in the air.
Yeah, it's quite a video to watch if you haven't already seen it. It was fantastic to actually see what it meant to her when she finally potted the final black. I know she said even though it was a simple black, you know, obviously the nerves and being on camera, it obviously meant a lot to her.
Yeah, that was in the high-end club in Bangkok where they played the World Championship earlier this year, where Evans beat her in the final. So as I said, pink and black a little awkward. She's been relying on blues so far. Yeah, trying to screw back there and has miscued.
Mink, 12.
Yeah, it's just gone a little bit scrappy with the pink and black out of commission currently.
One.
Well, in potting that red, she just cannoned into another one, so not ideal now on this blue. Looking to avoid bulk colours as well. She's played it pretty well.
what we have noticed during the World Seniors over the last
6.
couple of days, table's very, very quick. So we do go to some very, very nice clubs and venues on the women's circuit, but under the TV lights and in front of the audience, this is very different to what the women players have experienced before.
Yeah, and this is a short match, so there's not a lot of time really to get used to the pace of the table.
Rhian Evans, 6.
Ryan Evans won 6 of the 8 ranking events on the ladies' tour last season. And returned to world number 1. Onyi, who we'll see in the next match, was threatening her supremacy, but Ryan Evans delighted to get her world title back.
Yeah, I know that meant a lot to Rhian to get back to world number 1, because Onyi was world number 1 for a small stint. First Asian women world number 1. And like you say, we will see Onyi later on. She won 3 out of 4 world championships. But now Rhian's back at the top of the tree, world champion and world number 1.
Foul and a miss. Rhian Evans,
Well, she
4.
got very close to just flicking that red as intended, but you often see first attempt at that sort of shot, the players will err on the side of caution, because you don't want to hit it too thick and leave reds on. Just trying to flick off the red. Louise Kratz is the referee.
Yeah, it's a bit like a practice swing, isn't it? The first shot, you don't want to sort of butcher the shot and hit it too thick and leave someone like Rhian in the balls. So got to play this well, trying to hit this thin and bring the white back into somewhere into bulk, somewhere into the top half of the table.
Just slightly too thick, but it's okay, I think. I don't think there's anything on here. I think what is noticeable, Michael, now, the top 4 players who we've got here, 2 of them are non-British, from, of course, Thailand and Hong Kong, which points to the sort of globalisation of the women's game. There's a lot of events, and indeed the World Championship, of course, itself was in Thailand. A lot of events now around the world.
Yes, yeah, the women's circuit itself. I mean, we've got events obviously in the UK, mainland Europe, events in Asia, like you say, the World Championship was in Thailand, events in Australia as well. So it is a real sort of global tour. The World Championship just gone in Bangkok, and the high-end club there was I think there was 15 different nationalities represented, and from countries that you might not necessarily associate with snooker. And we have players from Japan, Russia, even Iran. It's quite amazing, really, actually, what the progress that has been made in the last sort of 4 or 5 years with the circuit. It's in a there's a long way to go, but the circuit's in a really healthy place compared to what it was sort of 6-7 years ago. And obviously that's bolstered with the young sort of talent that we've got coming from places like Thailand. It's a really exciting few years ahead for the women's circuit.
Well, things have opened up a little bit now in this frame. The black and the pink are now out in the open, so maybe a question of who can get in first now. Oh, that was a handy little flick on the yellow. She holds her hand up to acknowledge a little bit of fortune there, because she's snookered her opponent on all the reds. And of course, in a very short match like this, a little bit of luck like that could be big. If Mink leaves her in here, then Rhian Evans with a chance to win the opening frame.
I think it's quite tricky to actually sort of pick a red out where she can get a safe off. There isn't sort of like a cluster of reds she can sort of roll up to, so she's got to be quite careful here that she doesn't sort of leave Rhian an opportunity. like we mentioned, the pink is out now and the pink spot's free. The black's a little bit freer than what it was a few minutes ago, so Mink will be conscious that she's got to play this pretty well. It's a pretty good response. Although she has, I think, left Rihanna a shot into the bottom right-hand pocket as we're looking at it. But I think it's a little bit difficult to get the cue ball out for a colour. So that was a great effort from Mink.
Yes, Mink's never beaten Rhian Evans, so it's a big occasion not just to be here at the Crucible, but to be playing the #1, the world champion. Well, it's her turn to have a bit of luck, the fluke, and not only that, she's on this yellow, or possibly the pink to the middle, but anyway, she held her hand up as well.
Yeah, like you said, Dave, that could be in such a short format match like this. And like I said, the balls are a little bit more open than what they were a minute ago, so it'll be interesting to see how many Mink makes here.
Three.
We saw James Watanabe in the seniors, of course he's playing in that, and he was a standard bearer for snooker in Thailand at a very young age. As a teenager, he emerged and played in one of the matchroom events in the 80s and very quickly became
Four.
one of the top players in professional sport. And that's what all these countries need, I guess. It's a flag bearer. We've seen it in the men's game with Ding in China. And maybe this teenager can do similar for snooker in Thailand. Well, she's caught the brown there, unintended, but it hasn't finished too bad, actually.
Nine.
Yeah, she's just not got quite the right angle on this red. I'm wondering if she could perhaps screw it in on off the cushion and perhaps get on the black some way. But if she does certainly pop the black, there's a chance of making a valuable contribution here.
Ten.
Well, actually, she could play it delicately and hold for it into the same pocket that she spotted the red.
So this break started with a fluke, but in this hallowed arena in 1983, Cliff Thorburn fluked a red, made a maximum. So
17.
It's not necessarily about having the luck, it's what you do when you get it. She'll be determined to try and make the most of this chance.
$18.
Yeah, that was nicely done. She was slightly hampered with the red, but played a nice controlled cannon, and she's in a good position here to possibly take the opening frame from this visit. And again, she was hampered there, and I think she can just get to the centre of the cubal on this black, but she's just having to work a little bit hard to get into a good position.
She looks pretty relaxed, actually. You know, you can forgive a few nerves. This is a huge occasion. But just concentrating on the 12 by 6, the table.
$33.
Well, she's kept this break going well. She's kind of never quite been in absolute perfect position, but she's kept on potting.
Yeah, that was a lovely shot, and I think she can just drop the pink in, and these 3 reds here down towards the bottom right-hand pocket, I think they're all kind of sort of blocking each other, so just needs to get into the cubal into a nice position, and when she pots 1 red, it'll obviously open the other 2, so if she can get that shot right, then that could be the key to the opening frame.
Yeah, and it helps as well. There's a red safe on the right-hand side cushion, which she won't need. Rhiannon Evans will, as it stands.
Yeah, I think she was trying to can into the red sort of closest to the black there.
40.
Just misjudged it. So could be under break here unless she plays something elaborate. But she's got a nice advantage here in the first frame, so she doesn't want to hand Rhiannon an opportunity to get back into the frame.
Evans preparing to come back to the table. She's 42 behind as it stands.
Mink, 40.
Well, a pretty solid 40 there to give her the lead in the opening frame.
Well, that was half a chance for Rhiannon, but she's got away with the miss. A couple of the reds are now in sort of semi-safe positions, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility that if one of these 2, if Rhiannon was to get in, that she could get back into the frame in 1 visit. Looks as if Mink's sizing this one up, though.
Well, full marks for positivity. Just cannon this red, which is just off the left-hand side cushion, just giving Rhiannon Evans a chance here. So, as I mentioned earlier, there's 1 safe red on the right-hand side cushion, which could come to Mink's rescue here, but a chance for Rhiannon Evans to make the frame a lot closer.
$8. 9.
That was a nice shot from Rhiannon. She was slightly hampered on that red.
16. 17.
Well, it really does feel this frame is about that save thread because all the
24.
colours are on.
Yes, I think her first objective was obviously trying to just get back into the frame. She just slightly underhit that though, so unless she sort of takes it black and brings it in and out of bulk or sort of plays a crazy pink, it might be difficult to continue the break after this black.
Well, that was a handy kiss on the green. She acknowledged it.
32.
Yeah, I think the cube was sort of going nowhere there really, but that's a really nice sort of kiss on the green. So still going with this break here, Rianne. She's only 10 points behind, but still in play.
33.
Well, she's cannon the red as you see, but I don't think it pots to that yellow pocket.
40.
Yeah, that was a terrific effort to bring the red up. She's a little bit unfortunate not to leave a pot on, but as I mentioned, she is back into this frame, so I think a really good safety is the order of the day here, and try to put the pressure back on Mink.
Yeah, it's turned into a great frame actually. It's quite scrappy early on when pink and black were tied up, but she's 2 points in it now on the last red.
Rianne Evans, 40.
Evans will be now hoping that her experience in such a crucial moment in the frame will come to bear. All the years she's been playing, 12 world titles, remember. Well, if she's got the snooker, she's been fortunate. Well, we've had a lot of tense frames at the Crucible, haven't we, since 1977, and here's another one. Looks like she can just get through to the red.
Well, it certainly looks like a Red Bull game here. The yellow's quite freely accessible, the green's over the pocket. So you would suspect whoever gets pots this last red will have a really good chance to win the frame. That's pretty good. I don't think Rianne can get through the gap of the brown and yellow, so this is a bit of trouble for Rianne here.
Does not want to leave a free ball with the green over the pocket. It's a good hit.
Yeah, she'll be very happy with that outcome. Obviously, the green pockets, the green ball's blocking the green pocket, but Mink does have a chance here of perhaps laying another snooker bee on the brown.
Well, she's not got it, and she's looking with a little bit of concern. This could be about one good pot now. Yeah, she knew it. I think she knew that that red was, I'm not saying frame ball, but definitely a chance to potentially go on and win the frame. Yeah, it was another chance, but delighted with second prize. The point is, that green is waiting. Whoever wants to pot the red, that's virtually guaranteed.
Yeah, that's not bad. She'll settle with that. Just wondering though if she has left Rihanna a chance at a long pot here. As you said, Dave, it's the green is sort of begging to be potted, whoever does pot this last red, so I don't think Rihanna's going to turn down this opportunity. Well, she did. But it's got a good cue ball. Obviously realises how important it is, this last red.
Just joining us, just tuning in, this is the Women's Tour Championship live from the Crucible in Sheffield, the top 4 in the world doing battle this morning. Needs this to stop, needs it to stop. Well, it just shows you how fast this table is actually. On a club table that would have stopped, but kept on running, and she's left a chance for Rhian Evans.
One.
Got to take the green really. If she pots the yellow, the brown's in the way when it goes back on its spot.
Just under hit that green, and now she's wrong-sided herself on the yellow.
4.
So if she wants to go for the clearance, I think she's going to have to bring the cue ball back up and down the table for the green.
Six.
That's not bad. It's not ideal, but she needs a nice strike on this green, and should be the opening frame.
9.
Yeah, she struck that almost too well actually. She left it a bit awkward over the blue.
Yeah, it's about the only part of the table there where it's actually turned awkward. She's got the rest out, so hopefully she's thinking that she can just cue around this, and she just, well, certainly looks awkward.
Yeah, not straightforward. She still needs brown and blue here. Right in the middle of the pocket. It's a great shot. And she's plumb on the blue.
13.
Just checking the scores. She doesn't need the pink. Well, Mink from Thailand had a good lead in this frame, but Rhian Evans found a way back into it. It all seemed to be about the last
18.
red. It was left over that left middle for Rhian Evans. Would like this pink in, obviously, because it's only one snooker required. And in it goes. So the 12 times world champion came from behind in the opening frame of the day. Rhian Evans leads Nutcharat Wong Harathai by 1 frame to 0. Remember, this match is best of 3 frames, but if the tie were to level up, we would have a respot in the deciding frame. That would decide it. But Rhian Evans will be happy. She could have lost that frame, but she's won it. She leads 1-0. She needs one more, and she'll be through to the final.
The second frame, Mink to break.
Welcome back to the Crucible Theatre here in Sheffield. We're bringing you live coverage, of course, of the World Seniors Championship here on Free Sports, but also the Women's Tour Championship underway. We've got the top 4 in the world. Rhian Evans, the world champion, the world #1, has won the first frame. It was a bit of a thrilling frame, actually. Came down to the colours. Effectively the last red. She's up against Nutcharat Wong Harathai, also known as Mink, a 19-year-old from Thailand who led the frame. She had a 40 break, but in the end, a little bit of experience told, I think. And Rhian Evans is 1-0 up. It's first to 2 to reach the final. And the second semi-final is On Yi of Hong Kong against Rebecca Kenner, who's brought, I think, a coach load with her. She's a local from Keighley.
Yeah, I think Rebecca's got. She'll have a lot of sort of vocal support here in the crowd. She is the local player of the event, so like I say, we'll see her after this match against On Yi. Yeah, it was a really sort of entertaining opening frame. I think both players made 40s, so that will settle them down and they get another opportunity to make a scoring contribution in this frame. They, like I say, they are settled in now, so a little bit more familiar with the conditions and the table.
Yeah, and the other factor is definitely where we are here at the Crucible. You know, just the word sort of sends shivers through snooker players, snooker fans. Big occasion, not just to showcase the ladies' game, but to play here. That is not as intended, though, from Rhian. She winces. It's gone about as bad as it could from her point of view. She would like that one over again.
Yeah, she'd have that shot back again, but she has pushed the black a little bit safe, and the pink looks as if it's out of commission as well, so might not be as bad as first looked.
It's pretty bad, though, I think. Yeah, I think the pink will go to the left middle. Rhian Evans just looking at the screen, not really liking what she's seeing. Problem is she's dead straight on the easy red. The black doesn't go to the left corner. She's not sure she can actually see the potting angle of the other red.
One.
So suddenly this pink feels like a big shot. Particularly, of course, it's only best of 3. You didn't want to leave Evans in. That's nicely done. It's finished a little awkward, but good pot.
Seven.
Yeah, it was a lovely shot, but I'm not sure if she can continue the break or not here. Like I say, she's hammered over the blue, so looks as if she's just going to play thin off one of these reds here and send the cue ball back into bulk.
Mink 7.
So that horror show of a shot from Rhian Evans actually hasn't really costed too much, just 7 points. Well, this is another mistake though. Just a slight stretch this, but this looks a better chance actually than the first one where it was just a little awkward.
1.
Yeah, we did see from a previous camera angle that the pink doesn't right-hand pocket, but the black is free, so I assume she'll try and get on that black as soon as she can and bring that into play. And Mink's an example of a player who's only been sort of active on the scene over the last couple of years, but she's risen up to the top 4 in the world rankings. And it's very similar to Rebecca Kenno, who we're going to see later on in the event. It's world number 3. She's very consistent on the circuit. Lots of semi-finals, lots of quarter-finals. And it is an example of what can be done in a fairly sort of short space of time, really.
5.
She's not yet won an event on the women's circuit, but reached a couple of finals, and who knows, today could be the time that she lifts her first trophy.
Marco, you work with the Women's Association. If there's anyone watching who
12.
seeing this fancies giving it a go, how do they go about playing in the tournaments?
I think it's important to state that the circuit is open to all players, all ages, all abilities. We are on Facebook, Women's Snooker. We're also on Twitter as well.
13.
Women's Snooker is worldwomensnooker.com is the website. Like I say, is available to all female players. Our next event is in September, actually, for the UK Championship up in Leeds. That's 14th to the 15th of September. I guess the issue is new players might look at this and look at the standard and might be a little bit intimidated about entering the events, but as I say, it is open to players from all
20.
abilities, and you are really welcomed into the sort of like into the family, the community. So, like I say, if you've got any questions about the circuit, the tour, get in touch with us and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions.
Yeah,
21.
who knows, one day you could be stepping out of this lovely venue. First Women's World Championship was held in 1976, and the Women's Snooker Association was founded in 1981 by Mandy Fisher, who's president to this day. And the women's game's been in various hands over the years, but last 4 years it's been under the auspices of the World Professional Billiards and Snooker Association, who, under the chairman Jason Ferguson, are really trying to push the concept of snooker for all. Tomorrow morning we'll see a disabilities event here. Obviously we know all the top professionals in the game. We see them on TV events, but there's a lot of snooker being played right around the world at all levels by millions and millions of people.
28.
Yes, I think people are going to be surprised with the disability session tomorrow, and these players you're going to see tomorrow, they can play. You know, they really can, and I know they're going to be absolutely buzzing for their Crucible appearance. And just going back to what you were saying, Dave, about the circuit the last sort of 4 years or so, the standard amongst the top players really is sort of increasing all the time. For example, at the recent Australian Open earlier this season, we had several centuries in the event. I know Rianne, I think in the event, made 137, and the next day, the following day, Onyi beat it. She made 139, which is the highest break in competition.
34.
So that's just sort of an example of what these players are capable of.
Yeah, those two have an interesting rivalry,
35.
I think. Evans and Onyi. I think obviously Onyi took the world title off Rianne Evans. Rianne's got it back now. They may play in the final later, but of course Mink here doing her best to try and make this match level. She's 42 in front, although she had a similar lead actually in the last frame. If she does win this frame, remember it's decided on a respotted black, the match. Not quite ideal in anything here, really. Just deciding between yellow and green. So, as I say, she was about this far in front in the last frame and eventually lost it. She, as I say, wasn't ideal positionally there, has missed the green. So she leads by 42. Some of her safety in this frame has not been to the standard she would like. You can see she's a little frustrated by it. Rianne Evans from a very strong part of the snooker world in the West Midlands, got into the game through her family. Whereas that was a good safety.
Yeah, that was a shot to nothing for Rianne there, but a good length of cue ball. again, Rianne played that with an element of safety.
Took a long time over that. You could tell she knew it was a big shot. It was a chance to get in again, potentially win the frame. It's all a sort of learning curve for Mink. Obviously, she's only really been playing in these events for a couple of years now, but she's made rapid progress. She's already been in a world final. I think this is where the length of the match will be on Rianne's mind, because she knows if she leaves a chance, 1-1, and then it's decided on a respot. Well, it's a great pot, though. It really is. So she's in, ready to counter-attack.
Yeah, it could be a rerun of frame one, couldn't it? I think, not sure if Rianne has got ambitions of clearing up from this visit, but she can certainly get back well into the frame.
Yeah, again, there's another slightly awkward red. This time it's on the baulk line. But anyway, she can make the frame a lot closer before worrying about that. Rianne Evans, who a couple of years ago beat Robin Hull in the World Professional Championship qualifiers. It's worth saying, I think it's important to say, there's no men's game, it's the professional game. Women have always been able to play in it, and there have been women professionals in the past. Indeed, Rianne Evans was on the tour for a season. But if you think of the UK as the game's traditional base, it's certainly true that historically, go back to the old style snooker clubs, they weren't
15.
always that hospitable to women, and hence the participation levels weren't as high as they were for men. Hopefully events like this will mean that will start to change.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point you make, Dave,
16.
that female players in the past might not have had the same opportunities that they're sort of getting now, and you know, that's credit to women's snooker, the effort that they put in over the last few years, and changing people's views and perceptions on women's snooker. It's interesting that all four of the players you'll see this morning, they have played in Q School before. They play in open events against male competitors
22.
quite often.
experience as well. Right now, though, her mind is on this frame. Well, she was also playing the cannon to the other two reds,
29.
but the one she was going for didn't drop in. If it had done, there's a good chance, but as it is, Mink comes back to the table, 13 in front, with a great chance now to level up. Well, it's out of her hands. This could yet be going down to a respot. Remember, if it's one each, then the decider will be a respotted black.
One. Mink, 1.
She'd be so disappointed. That was a good chance. Didn't get too close to the pot. A bit of pressure, I think, there came to bear. She knew it was an opportunity to make it one each.
One. Four.
I'm not sure Rianne was too happy with that. I don't know if she had a bad contact, but I don't think it's too bad. I think she's got a... Obviously, she'll have to use the rest, but she has got a little bit of angle she can play with here.
Five.
Well, this is remarkably similar, isn't it, to frame one, where, again, Mink was 40 odd in front, and in that frame it did come down to the last red, and it seems likely to be similar here. Got to have a foot on the floor, or a toe at least.
Rianne Evans, 5.
Yeah, decided there was no value attempting a pot. Although she would have liked a fuller snooker. Just a slight swerve.
I think she's going to be happy with that outcome. I think experience played a little bit of a part at the end of the previous frame, so that's perhaps where Rianne would certainly have an upper hand in those sort of exchanges, but she's in trouble herself here with this snooker.
Well, you're absolutely right, she was, but what a fluke. That could be a match winner. Well, that would be a sickener for Mink if that's effectively won Rhian Evans the match. She's got to put these colours away, but what a fluke. And we thought Mink had been fortunate fluke in the snooker.
Yeah, well, it's like what you said earlier, Dave, wasn't it? That it's such a short
7.
format that, you know, a slice of luck like that could be the decisive factor. And like you say, Rhian's got a really good opportunity now to clear up and take the match 2-0.
Yeah, snooker can feel like a crazy game at times, you know. She looked like she'd been unlucky to find herself snookered. Then flukes the red out the snooker. Points level then on the green, which means Rhian Evans needs down to the pink, including the pink. Still a little bit of pressure on these. And if she gets that far, the shot blue to pink. Chance to go wrong with so much distance to cover.
12.
Yeah, I think the blue's just far enough off the cushion that she's got a little bit of space to play with here. It's not sort of tight on the cushion, and it is fairly close to the pocket, so she's just got to make sure that she gets enough angle on the blue to come down for the pink.
Doesn't want to leave herself a pressure pink, wants to just finish nicely on it. So this is the key shot now. Well,
21.
as I was saying, and in fact, it's gone. Well, in fact, she's knocked the black a little safe, which isn't the worst outcome, but obviously she wanted an easier pink than this. But maybe just knocking that black to the cushion has slightly taken the pressure off. It's pink for victory.
Rhian Evans, 21.
So reprieve.
Yeah, I think there was personal choice about whether she was going to drop that into the middle or, like she did, take it long into the green pocket, but just wondering if Mink's got some sort of an angle here to get back down for the black. Like you say, the black is on the top cushion now, though, so it'll be a pressure shot on the black if she does get onto it.
Well, she did leave herself on it, but the pink didn't go in. So second bite at the cherry for Rhian Evans in terms of match ball.
Yeah, I think she felt she had too much angle on that pink to sort of drop it in and hold for the black, so she tried to sort of cannon into the black and leave herself on it that way, but in doing so missed the pink.
Well, this is the hardest of the three shots she's had at the pink. Not taking it on for that reason. Double kiss, but it's all right. It's got very tense, hasn't it, this frame now? The factor, though, for Mink is where the black's finished. That was one bit of fortune Evans had when the positional shot from blue to pink went wrong. She did at least knock the black safe-ish.
Not sure if that was sort of a half-hearted attempt at a double sort of come safety, but just wondering if what the angle's like on this pink, whether Mink can potentially sort of drop this in and stay on the black. It's very tough either way.
What a pot that is, bearing in mind she missed a much easier pink to the right middle earlier in the frame, so she needs this black, and we're going to a respot decider. A lot of pressure on this though. But in it goes. Well, Rhian Evans had a couple of goes at the pink for victory. Wasn't to be. A terrific pot on the pink from Mink, and she's added the black as well, and that means that the decider will be down to a respotted black. Huge drama here at the Crucible, and as I say, they're not going to play a full decider, they're going to play a respotted black finish. This is the draw, so just to confirm, this is the first semi-final. The next match, Onyi of Hong Kong against Rebecca Kenner, who's from Yorkshire, brought plenty of supporters with her. Yeah, I think pressure's now on Evans, isn't it? Because she did have a chance there to wrap it up. It was really that shot from blue to pink that went wrong.
Yeah, I think though overall, I think you know, a respot black is fair on sort of the balance of play, but you know, Rhian will be frustrated. She had a golden opportunity there. It was always trying to get perfect on that pink and just overhit the blue. But yeah, obviously it's a flip of a coin now.
Well, there's the men's draw. Of course, the World Seniors Championship will resume this afternoon, and some big names there. Jimmy White and Stephen Hendry. They're in opposite halves of the draw. I wonder if they could meet in another Crucible final. Of course, they played in 4 in the World Professional Championship. But Hendry's got a tough match actually against Darren Morgan. Jimmy's up against Stuart Watson, and you can see there Aaron Canavan, defending champion, against Leo Fernandez, and James Wattenart against Chen Gang. A great opportunity there. You know, there's legends there, but there's also players who've come through qualifiers, and we saw Stuart Watson last night. He beat Dennis Taylor. He was absolutely delighted, wasn't he? Gave it the clenched fist at the end.
Yes, it's a really good mix, isn't it? The last 8 there, you look there, and obviously, you know, that would be a dream final if it was Stephen and Jimmy come Sunday evening. But James has played really, really well in his opening 2 matches. I think he made 113. Aaron Canavan, obviously defending champion, he was very impressive in his opening win yesterday. I think he made a 70 and 80 and a 60. So really, that is an open competition.
Well, that will resume this afternoon, but right now, the first semi-final of the Women's Tour Championship
It's not a respotted black, so
will be decided on the respot.
Yes.
I think they're saying, you know, normally in a respot you toss a coin, but in fact, because it's not technically part of a frame, Rhian Evans, who broke in the first frame, is going to be playing the first shot.
Yeah, you don't really want to be playing the first shot of a respot, but she's played that pretty well. There's always a temptation of a double, but I'm not quite sure if it's a great angle. But Mink did come around to look at the middle pocket, so perhaps she is going to take this on.
Yeah, you're right. She had a look at the angle. Rhian Evans had a couple of goes at the pink for victory. They weren't easy by any means. That's a good shot. Keeping the pressure on. Oh wow, she's gone for the double, she's got the treble. It's another bit of fortune, you've got to say, for Rhiannon Evans. But she is the winner of the first semi-final of this Women's Tour Championship. What a thrilling match it was. Both of the frames were close, and in the end, she's trebled the roost pot. Rhiannon Evans, the world champion, the world #1, first into the final. And she will play either Onyee of Hong Kong or Rebecca Kennett, and that semi-final is coming up shortly. So the second semi-final of the Women's Tour Championship about to get underway. Onyee here from Hong Kong,
Your choice.
3 times world champion, and Rebecca Kenner, you heard in the introduction, has got quite a few supporters in. She's from Keighley, not too far away, here in Yorkshire.
First frame. Onyee to break.
Onyee, very enthusiastic, always seems to be smiling, and has had plenty to smile about in recent times. Delighted to say I'm joined now by Mandy Fisher, who's the president of Women's Snooker. And Mandy, I know snooker they have had the Women's Championship before at the Crucible, but this is a big occasion, isn't it, for the ladies' game?
Yeah, yes, definitely. It was quite some years ago when we played the Women's World Championship here, and it was a very daunting experience, but a very brilliant experience for all the girls. And we've moved on such a lot since then, and I think that already it's shown that how competent that the girls are, how well they can play, and I think we've seen some great snooker already.
Very exciting first match, actually.
Yes, I thought it was brilliant. No necessary high breaks, but at least the girls could showcase their skills, and whoever you are, it takes quite a bit of getting used to play on these tables and come out for the first time ever in this wonderful arena.
Yes, the word cruise, as I said in the first match, known to everyone in the snooker world, everyone who's ever picked up a cue, at whatever level, has dreamt of playing here, and now a chance for Onyee and Rebecca Kenner to show us what they could do. Yeah, Rebecca Kenner has only been playing for 3 years, but she's already reached 3 world semi-finals. And indeed was runner-up last year in both the UK Championship and the Masters.
Yes, she's just knocking on the door. She's done so well in the past 3 years. She's so dedicated, and she puts everything into it. I can see her not too far off winning a first major title.
Just a bit awkward here.
Foul.
Well, she's
Onyee, 4.
fouled there. She's caught something. The referee, Louise Kratz, was right on the case. played that well, actually. Now, we can see here, this is the foul. Must be, is it the red with the rest? Yeah, she just caught the red with the rest. And the referee, as I say, was right on the case. Seems to me, Mandy, just watching on you about the venue, and whenever you see her in a picture, she's so enthusiastic about snooker, absolutely loves it, and has worked very hard as well to get to the level she's at.
Yeah, she's a totally dedicated player and has had many century breaks herself. She started off pretty well.
She's been coached by Wayne Griffiths, whose father Terry won the World Professional Championship here 40 years ago now, 1979. Indeed, of course, Terry and Cliff Thorburn had the latest ever finish here, 9 minutes to 4 in the morning.
$15. $16.
It seems, Mandy, that the women's game is becoming more international. Two of the top 4 here are from Asian countries, which can only be a good thing, can't it, to sort of spread the gospel a bit around the world?
Absolutely. We went to, a couple of years ago, to Singapore, and there was many players in Singapore and the Thailand countries and China and Hong Kong, and it's brilliant that they are now coming and playing more and more on our tour.
21.
World Women's Snooker had our World Championship and World Cup in Thailand a few weeks ago, and it was amazing to all of us to see how many young Thailand players now look up to the players like Nucharat Wongarutai and are beginning to play more themselves.
Onyi there played a very attacking shot into the pack. It didn't finish too well and just missed that tricky red to the middle. Leads by 25 in this opening frame. Rebecca Kenner lining up this long red. There'll be a big cheer if it goes in. As I say, she's got a lot of supporters in. Still got a chance, actually.
One.
It's not quite what I meant, though. There's been a few little flukes today already that have been actually quite significant. Not least the black that Rhiannon Evans attempted to double and ended up trebling.
She would tell you she played for that.
Rebecca Kenner, 1.
Of course, it was On Yi that broke Rhiannon Evans' long run of success in the World Championship. Evans had won it from 2005 to 2014, but 2015 On Yi won the first of so far 3 titles.
Both On Yi and Rhiannon have dominated the game in the past few years, but players like Nucharat and other players who are not present are coming up the rankings very quickly. There's many players from Hong Kong and also many players from Thailand and also from Australia who are
running towards that right middle pocket. On Yi already 24 in front, so if she can pop this, land on a colour, it's definite chance in this opening frame.
One.
She's got quite a high profile actually out in Hong Kong. She's won one of their big sports awards, the Best of the Best award, twice.
8.
And aside from the 3 world titles, she's won the Women's World Amateur title on 2 occasions. And she's still only 28.
Yeah, they do have remarkable facilities out in Hong Kong. All the tables are of this quality. The girls are filmed whilst playing so that they can check any problems for their cue actions, and they have a great coaching, as you mentioned, with Wayne Griffith and his team, who support them and
16.
come along to all the events with them.
$17.
So definite chance to win the opening frame, just looking to keep things as simple as possible here. Ooh, that was a surprise.
17.
Maybe just slightly thinking about things to come in the frame, maybe took her eye off that, or maybe it was a slightly bad contact because Rebecca Kenner's having the white cleaned. Either way, she missed it. So Rebecca Kenner comes to the table. She actually runs a Q Sports shop in Keighley, where she lives. She's also a qualified WPBSA coach. Ooh. Disappointing again. I think the added factor here, it's not just that it's a big tournament on television, it's where we are as well, particularly for Rebecca, who of course lives relatively close. She would have been looking forward to this, I'm sure, for many weeks.
Yeah, she definitely has. I think she's just taking her time to settle down a little bit. I think it also puts a little bit of pressure on her because she has some. Anya has also had more experience in these sorts of situations as she's played in Q School.
Looks like she's made a mistake there, though. She's left this red over the pocket.
1.
It's a different game, though, isn't it? Under the television lights. It's a fast table as well. So it does take some getting used to. And of course, this is only a short match, so there's not a lot of time to actually settle in. Good pot, actually, because the red that she missed prior to that was arguably easier.
6.
Shake of the head because she just flicked the black there.
Rebecca Kenner, 7.
She hasn't left anything easy.
Well, she's got a useful lead and just looking to put another red safe and just try and shut the frame down. Oh, another terrific pot.
Yeah, she's potted quite a few good balls. Unfortunately, her position hasn't been quite so.
Well, she played a very positive shot, but it's not quite worked out in terms of position.
5. Rebecca Kenner, 5.
So News lead cut to 29. Trebles all round today. In terms of the next couple of years, Mandy, what are your sort of hopes for the way that the women's game can continue to develop?
3.
We're very much on an upward trend, and it would be really nice if we could achieve some sponsorship for the whole tour. Travelling all over the world is encouraging more and more players to come from all walks of life.
3.
Because I do feel that you need role models. Girls will look up to them and say, well, I'd like to do that. We don't get very much television exposure, so that would also be a brilliant thing if we could get more television exposure, and with that will come sponsorship. But the standard has increased so much. As mentioned, Nutcharat Wangarutai made that magnificent. And more of these girls are playing in Q School and achieving results, which just shows that, which has always been my opinion, that there is no physical reason why a woman should not play snooker as well as a man.
Foul.
Well,
Rebecca Kenner, 6.
that was not as intended, obviously, knocking the pink in. She's just not quite able to kill this frame off. She's sort of had the advantage throughout, but it's still in the balance, actually. Albeit a couple of safe reds on the left-hand side favour on you at the moment. Well, Kenner's decided to put her back in. This was what happened on the previous shot that led to the foul. Into the black and then into the pink and into the pocket. Well, came very close to the in off, a little fortunate, just held her hand up, and in fact she's left this awkward now. And now the black's in, and that could be a big error, actually.
On knee
because
7.
she left, I think, the red on closest to the pocket. So amazing, really. She put on Yi back in, thinking she'd get the advantage from it. It might actually be the end of the frame.
One.
Well, this black still needs potting, but if she does pot it, then another red and a colour, and Rebecca Kenner will need a snooker. Yeah, that's a good pot from Hon Yi. She does seem very confident, actually. As I say, I think a lot of it is just her enthusiasm for the game.
Yes, Onye's definitely settled in far quicker than Rebecca. A good shot there of her trademark glasses. I'm assured that it wasn't
9.
copied from Dennis Taylor.
Well, the main thing is pot this, because as I say, if she does, Rebecca Kenner will need a snooker. In fact, she needs a couple. So that foul knocking the black in was a big moment in this frame.
Thank you.
Ooh. And owned up immediately. So Rebecca Kenner now needs only one snooker. It's been very eventful, this frame, already. Maybe there's another twist in it yet. This is just must have just caught the cue ball, just feathered it, and obviously she would feel that. Very hard for the referee. Yeah, you can see just caught it and immediately owned up. While the red's in, she's going to need colour off it, though. If she took the blue, then she would need one snooker to tie.
Yellow ball.
Well, she nominated yellow. So she needs two snookers to win again.
Three.
doesn't really want it in. That's incredible. Sort of fluke you don't want.
4.
Well, I guess you've got to try and knock the brown in. Just for the points. But even then, she'd need 3 snookers.
Pink ball.
She's actually nominated pink. Got to go in. And it is in. Oh, how unlucky to snooker herself. Tell you what, this is an emotional roller coaster for Rebecca Kenner, this frame.
10.
What's going to happen next? Welcome to the Crucible. .35 behind, 27 on. But first things first. You see the pink go in, a great pot. Needed to pot this, but first things first. Hit the yellow, get it safe.
Rebecca Kenner, 10.
So she's still in this frame, needs a couple of snookers again. But one good pot from Onyee, and it should be her frame. Well, this yellow in the middle of the table, it's missable. Yeah.
Foul. Rebecca Kenner, 4.
Now, is this a free ball?
Free ball.
Well, it's an eventful frame, all right. Not necessarily over yet. So she could try and pot the brown, I guess, as the yellow or the pink. Or she could put Onyee in more trouble,
ball.
which is what she's intending to do. Not happened though. Didn't get the snooker. I think she was wary about putting the black on the cushion, and then obviously if she needed it, it'd be more difficult.
Yeah, I think she made a mistake there. I really think she should have put Onyee back in.
Well, this is a really good effort. Just a little bit of the yellow sticking out. So 31 in the frame, 1 4-point snooker, and Rebecca Kenner could tie.
Yeah, she was very unlucky not to put the white right behind the brown, but again, like you said, the speed of the table with the lights and the TV, it will be a lot faster than what she's used to.
Well, Yi has made all the running in this frame, but she's not won it yet. She's got to be careful. Even earlier on when she feathered that cue ball, you know, things can happen. A lot of things have happened, actually, for both players already. Like Idos, for example. Well, it's just that sort of frame, isn't it? You almost expected something there, and now suddenly Rebecca Kenna can tie. 27 behind with 27 on. This yellow is the safest ball really on the table, and it's the one she's playing. If she leaves it on, it is a chance for Rebecca Kenna. I know one thing, if she does win this frame, Rebecca Kenna will look back at that pink she knocked in when she had to pot it. Otherwise, she needed a lot of snookers. It's a very gutsy shot. Well, they ended up overcutting the yellow. So, now this is a chance for Rebecca Kenna. She needs the 6 colours and we'll have a respotted black.
Two.
This is where, though, it's about controlling the nerves, really. And that's not easy to do. We're at the Crucible, after all.
Five. Nine.
Well, she may wonder how she's still in this frame, but the fact is, she is, and she needs these 3 colours for a respot.
14.
Well, again, just a little pacey on this pink, or rather from blue to pink. Yeah, it meant she couldn't really get on the black, so needs to play good safety here.
Rebecca Kenna, 20.
It's gone a little close to the pocket. She's coming round to see what sort of angle Onyi has. It's one of those sort of...
From needing these snookers.
Onyi then faced with this black for the first frame, an eventful frame at that. which is not over yet. Played that so well. Now, where's this black going? Close to the pocket. So, deep breaths from Onyi. She needs this black, and it's going to be 1-0 to her. Rebecca Kenner had a chance to clear up for the respot. Didn't land nicely on the pink to get on the black. And Onyi just avoids the in-off. And Onyi of Hong Kong takes the opening frame. A very dramatic start to this semi-final. She leads Rebecca Kenner here at the Crucible by 1 frame to 0.
Thank you. The second frame, Rebecca Kenner to break.
Welcome back to the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield. It's the Women's Tour Championship, and a very dramatic opening frame of this semi-final was won by Onyi of Hong Kong on the final black. So she leads Rebecca Kenner 1-0. First to 2, remember, to play Rhiannon Evans in the final, which will follow this semi-final. Well, Rebecca Kenner just catching the blue on the break-off. She was a big second favourite for a long time in the first frame, but in the end she did have a chance. And be a bit disappointed, I think, how it finished. And be disappointed, I'm sure, with that break-off shot as well. Not least because Onyi's knocked the red in. Thank you to Mandy Fisher for joining me in the first frame. Michael Day is back for the second. It's been a nervy morning so far, actually, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's certainly value for money. I think every frame we've seen so far has either gone down to like the pink or the black. So, like I say, though, you know, the short format, a lot of pressure. You know, the Tour Championship titles on the line, and Crucible Theatre in front of an audience and cameras is you can't blame them for a few sort of edgy and twitchy shots. But no, it's been great entertainment so far.
Well, there's the red going in, and she's going for the jugular as well. No thoughts of rolling up to the brown. She knocked it in the middle, going for the win. Ooh, but just
5.
slightly seemed to tighten up on that shot, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say from Rebecca's break-off shot, I think she pushed the black safe, so straight away that sort of changes the complexion of the frame. But blue's gone up the table as well. I think the pink's available into this bottom right-hand pocket, but just sort of jockeying for position here at the minute. as with all four players this morning that we've seen, Rebecca works very hard at her game. She's very dedicated, practices a lot. You know, in a very short amount of time, she's gone into the sort of top four of the world. She has reached 3 finals on the circuit before she reached the finals of the UK and the Masters on our circuit last year. But like I say, she's sort of next in line to perhaps be the new a new title winner. But I also think her livelihood sort of is around snooker as well. I know she runs like a snooker shop up near where she lives, and also she's a coach as well. So snooker certainly plays a very big part of her life.
At the Crucible, even if she doesn't win the title, she's got these memories to look back on, and I guess motivation to work even harder. I think it's good for Rhiannon Evans as well, what's happened in recent years with the standard improving, because it's pushing her as well to try and stay at the top of the game, which at the moment she is. Red, doesn't she, on you? There's another one.
Yeah, I think it's interesting what you make about Rhiannon. You know, it's a real statement of intent last year. I think she won 6 titles out of 8. It was, you know, she had a fantastic season, you know, going back to world #1 and the world title. As I say, sort of on coming, I think it was 2015 might have been her first top world championship, and she won 3 of the next 4. Went to world #1. Like I say, I think that sort of inspired Rhiannon because she completely dominated the circuit. I think she had some ridiculous sort of sequence of winning matches on the circuit. I think it got into like the 60s or 70s, and obviously it was probably a shock for her when Onyi come along and took the world title. But fair credit to Rhiannon, she's back at the top of the tree now, and
yeah, I'm sure winning never gets boring, but when that great run came to an end, I'm sure Rhiannon felt that she would have to continue to work hard to try and get the title back, which she did in 2016 and then again this year. She's waiting, of course, in the final to see who she's going to play. Yeah, that was a nice shot from Onyi, and that's a favourable kiss on green. She's got a nice angle here, I think, on the... I think she'll probably take the brown and bring the cue ball back down into the business end of the table. Well, it was a very aggressive shot. She's a little unlucky, really. The white has come out of the race.
5.
This, if you played to basically avoid them, you'd be there all day probably. Just flicked off one, and the whites ended up running back towards ball.
Only 5.
Now I think this red does just cut in.
Yeah, it is a thin one. I'm not sure how well she can control the cue ball, but she might be able to get herself onto a bolt colour. Yeah, it wasn't quite ideal, that red, and she was worried. We've mentioned about the titles that Rianne won last year. Onyi did win 2 titles herself on the circuit. She won the UK Championship. She also won in Australia. There was a big event over in Sydney. So despite losing a world #1 spot, she still picked up more trophies on the circuit last year.
Well, she knew straight away that there's bound to be some damage done there. Yeah, I was saying to Mandy in the last frame that Onyi is got quite a high.
Dominance of Rianne Evans, and to become a world champion, yet alone a 3-time world champion in 4 years, is something very special. So quite rightly, she's won several sort of accolades actually away from the bays. Although she won't be too happy with that shot there, sort of held back a little bit, and the break's going to end at 1.
Well, that's not good either. That really isn't. She's pushed the red over the pocket. So that all went wrong very suddenly for Onyi.
One.
Seems to me that Rebecca Kenner in this match, it's never quite been straightforward. That black wasn't guaranteed by any means. It's just looking to settle down. Of course, not a lot of time to do that at best of 3.
Yeah, I think perhaps she's getting a little bit frustrated from that, and that was a tricky black, but she didn't shy away from it, and she realised that if she did pot the black, then she, there was a chance of making a few more points. So, fair credit to Rebecca for staying positive. But as you say, in a short format like this, you want to try and harvest as many chances as you can.
Black ball. Onyi 1.
Onyi just carving out a lead here in dribs and drabs. Yeah, again, bit of anxiety from Rebecca Kenner's point of view. Just caught that all wrong. Giving Onyee another opening. But couldn't take it. It's got very scrappy now, this frame. I think the nerves are evident on both sides. I must say it's odd being here in August, of course, the World Professional Championship. It's actually sunny outside. Got here last night, absolutely lashing down with rain. I suppose the British summer, I suppose for an indoor sport it doesn't really matter.
I think it's interesting actually because of the damp conditions we've had the last couple of days. Jimmy White played last night in Xenia's match, and he was saying that he found it quite sort of sticky. You know, the table we've got for this here this week's a beautiful table, beautiful cloth, but obviously outside conditions can play a part.
1.
Yeah, well, there was a famous in the 1970s, the World Championship in Manchester. There was one session where rain stopped play because there was a hole in the roof, and it was raining on the table. Thankfully, we don't have that problem here at the Crucible. Meanwhile, Rebecca Kenner back at the table, and she knows that this frame. Yeah,
Black ball.
I think she feels she can cut this black in. It's a little bit tight though, past the pink.
Yeah, you could just see she was playing that with a trace of right hand side, trying to turn it over. But I often think if you have to look a couple of times at the ball, that it probably doesn't go. But sometimes you sort of fib yourself into thinking that it does. But the chance that Onyee left Rebecca, that the red wasn't easy to get onto a colour. So again, Rebecca's probably going to be a little bit frustrated with the chance she had.
Yeah, I was saying about the water dripping into the roof. We don't have that problem here. Actually, we did one year. It wasn't through the roof. There was something dropping off the lighting rig. It was a match, I think, between John Higgins and Mark Williams, and they did actually have to troop off.
Yeah, I remember them putting like a rag or something on the table to sort of collect the sort of like raindrops sort of things. Yeah, it was a bit bizarre. Rain stop play.
Well, another mistake. She's covered the red to the middle, but this one goes to the corner. Can Onyee now take control of this frame? Looks a good chance.
1.
Got the big colours out in play and several loose reds to go out. She's got a small lead.
You could just see on that shot there on the pink that Onyee's got a very good cue
7.
action, sort of very arrow straight, and I know that's something that she works very hard on.
Eight. Thirteen. Onyee 13.
Yeah, she wasn't absolutely ideal on that red, but I think in general she just hasn't really got into a flow today. It's all been a bit stop-start.
Looking at Rebecca's reaction, though, I think Onyee's got away with that one. So a little bit more frustration from for Rebecca here.
Yes, I mean, on another day she could easily have left that red in bulk to the yellow pocket. But there's only 25 points in this frame. Well, that was the red, as I say, that she could have left herself.
That's a nice pot on the blue. I'm not quite sure the break's going to continue though, but should be feeling a little bit better with those last two
6.
shots. I think it's also important to note that Ony's played in the World Championship qualifiers the last couple of years. Evidence there over a longer format, and you know, against a male competitor, she can certainly hold her own.
Yeah, I think she's got quite a good all-round game, actually. Obviously, the Griffiths coaching, I'm sure, has helped with that. And it just seems that Rebecca Kenner's just been on the back foot throughout this whole match. Now then, this red is certainly going to be on unless she covers it. She's having a look. She has. If not, then it's another chance. Looks like she can get through to the potting angle. That's been the difference, really, in the match. When Ony's made mistakes, she hasn't been leaving really easy
1.
balls, whereas Rebecca Kenner has been giving chances, and this is another one.
That was a nice shot there,
6.
nicely controlled. Getting closer to the finishing line here. Still a few more balls away from that point in time.
Seven.
I'll mention it when we start the final. Well, I was about to say 43 in front, so needs the red, but it's finished horrible
12.
actually.
Again, I think that's an example of how quick the table's actually playing.
Been those two over recent years.
Yeah, and I think what makes that sort of rivalry fascinating is perhaps the difference in styles between the two players. And I think it's sort of widely known that perhaps Rianne is more of a sort of a natural free-flowing player, whereas Ony, I don't want to use it as sort of a backhand compliment, is more of a methodical player. So matches between them, you know, are very intriguing, and it would certainly be an issue should that transpire.
Yeah, it's like the sort of classic rivalries of, you know, Steve Davis, Alex Higgins, Ronnie O'Sullivan, Mark Selby, different styles, different personalities. Anyway, Ony not quite there yet. Again, though, Rebecca Kenner seeing nothing really. She's at the moment just sort of clinging on in this match. She's not had much in terms of easy balls. At times her safety as well has let her down. She's left chances for Ony.
Yeah, she's kind of been sort of feeding off scraps, hasn't she? She hasn't really had clear-cut chances to sort of stamp any authority so far.
Well, Anya, remember, needs 1 red to get to snooker. And there it is. Although in the last time Rebecca Kenner needed snookers, came very close to certainly forcing a respot. That's terrific. What a pot that is.
Yeah, she'll be happy that the pink.
Waited for chances, and she's going to play Rhiannon Evans, the world #1, the world champion, in the final. It's the final, I guess, that was predicted at the start of the day.
14.
Although Rhiannon Evans so close to the winner course in that opening match, went to a respot.
15. 20. 22.
Well, between them, Rhiannon Evans and Anya have won every world title since 2005, so maybe not such a shock they're going to play in this Tour Championship final.
$25.
There will be a break, a sort of 15-minute interval before the final. Anya's not done yet, though, as the crown goes in. Yeah, there'll be a little interval, and then we'll be back with the final. On this big morning for the women's game.
34.
Can't miss now all of a sudden, can she? Now the pressure's off. Well, what are you going to do with the pink? You're kidding. You're kidding. Come on then, knock the blackhead as well, for good measure. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So Anya has beaten Rebecca Kenner by 2 frames to 0. She wins the second semi-final of the Women's Tour Championship, and she will play the world #1, the world champion Rhiannon Evans, in the final.
First frame on knee to break. 1. On knee 1.
So a chance for Rhiannon Evans. Good chance, you've got to say, where the Reds are.
1. Eight.
I was going to say it was a golden opportunity
16.
for Rhiannon, but I think it might have gone wrong unless she can get to one of these reds towards the black.
Touching ball.
Of course, they've had a great rivalry over the last sort of 6 or 7 years. They've traded victories between each other. The most recent meetings were earlier this season in the Belgium Open final and the 10 Reds World Championship.
Onye's had a good chance And when she came back home, she said, you might want to go and look at the Crucible. It could be the venue you were looking for. Well, he did. It
25.
was. And the rest is literally history.
I think Rianne had a bit of a thumping kick there. She's just the wrong side of the blue, so looks like she'll have to come in and out of bog because she wants to sort of elect to come off sort of 2 cushions here. Yeah, she played that pretty well.
30.
Well, if Mr. 3 was nerve-wracking, just one frame obviously really puts you under pressure, but so far so good for the 12 times world champion.
31.
So much of today's women's game and trying to encourage participation. But I think it's good as well for Rianne Evans,
36.
who... How many people win 12 world titles in any sport? It's good for her to get some recognition. She's the most successful female player of all time.
Yeah, there's no question. She's been flag
37.
bearer of the sport for the last, you know, last 15 years, really. It's remarkable the success she's had. And as I mentioned earlier about Onyi's record winning 3 world titles, Rianne's won 12, which is quite remarkable in any sport, any discipline. You know, I'm so happy that she's got the opportunity, as the other 3 women we've seen today,
42.
the chance to play at the Crucible Theatre.
But needs to close it out now.
Forty-three.
Good pot on the black. She was just looking for a count on either the red or the pink. Unfortunately,
50.
it's just gone by, so she'll need another shot to keep the break going. Getting ever closer to the title. She's established a nice lead now.
Problem is, though, as Onyi looks on, there's nothing safe, really. Rianne Evans up to 50, but they're kind of all there if she were to break down. Terrific pot to keep it going nicely on the black. Great chance now for Evans to take this frame and this title.
Yeah, that would be for recovery and control to get on the black.
$58. $59.
This has been a really good break so far because a couple of times the cue ball's sort of gone astray, but she's pulled out some really good shots to keep it going.
57 in front, so this pink, and it's snookers required. And there's a chance here at the start that Rianne Evans could make a century. That would be something. She'd be the first
65.
woman ever to do that at the Crucible. Looks like the match is over. That's now the question. Can Rianne Evans make a century?
66.
It really would, I think, underline her dominance in the game, as Michael said, for the last 15 years. It would prove to everyone just how good she is. And that's what she can focus on now, because it looks like the title's hers.
Just okay, you see her sort of win that cue ball on.
73.
It's not perfect, but she's certainly got a shot on this red here.
Yes, she did play when she was a teenager in the World Championship when they had the semis and the final here. Well, the high kick didn't really help, I'm afraid.
79.
So she's going to have to pull something out the back here to keep the break going. Going to go in, well, the white's gone in anyway. So a 79 break, the highest of the day, and Rhian Evans is the winner of the Women's Tour Championship here at the Crucible. In the end, a clean kill. Onyee had the first good chance, but Rhian Evans made her chance pay, and the Queen of Snooker has landed another title.